Hello everyone, welcome to the class. Tracy's going to be our guinea pig today. We're going to stand up nice and tall. We're going to start standing on our feet. Feet parallel, hip width apart, so a small little opening between the feet. Keep that nice and relaxed. Arms are going to be next to our body. Shoulders open, so we don't feel anything rolling. Chin slightly in. Just a nice comfortable stance. Don't want to feel like you're tensing too much or trying too hard to stand up straight. A nice comfortable stance. We're not going to move it, we're just going to fill up those lungs. So nice deep inhale, filling up that chest, let that chest expand, keeping the shoulders still nice and relaxed, really just focusing on the breathing, collapsing, closing, exhaling out, closing those ribs. And again, long, deep inhale, opening up that chest, arms still staying loose next to us, and exhale, closing that lung, chest, all of it, and in, and exhale out, long exhale out of that chest, closing those ribs, last two, and we take a nice deep inhale, and exhale out, and last one, deep inhale, and exhale out. Now we're going to get a bit of stretching in the spine. We're going to keep the arms next to us for now, I'm not going to include them yet. Everything stays out the neck, meaning the shoulders are drawn down towards those hips. Head's going to tip over to the left, onto this left shoulder. Spine's going to start to curve. We're going to have this left arm dangling out of that left shoulder, hanging loose. So don't feel like it's too tense or it's activating, just nice and heavy out the shoulder. Head stays over, let's restack from the base, nice and tall. And the head comes over like the whip of a tail. So I don't want the head to come up first and then stand up tall. I want the head to come up last and it flicks up at the end. Let's go over to the other side, head falls over to the right, head towards the shoulder starts to drag us down. Weight shift a little bit to the right, not completely, just we don't want to feel like we're popping our left hip out towards the side too much. 2-1, let's restack from the base of that spine all the way up. Let's go over to the left again. Left head side falls over. Left arm hanging loose out that shoulder. Nice and heavy out the neck. Keeping it hanging towards that foot. 3, 2, 1. And slowly restacking up. Head tips over to the right. Shoulder dragging us down towards the floor. Keeping the length out the spine. Weight's in that right foot. A little bit of body weight shifting across. Not too much, just keeping it there. 2, 1, and slowly restack and rebuilding from the spine. We're just trying to warm up the muscles in the back. A lot goes on there, and left over to the left side. Head falls over, arms hanging loose, heavy towards the floor. Keeping those hips square. So with the top part falling over, I don't want the lower part to twist or help to rotate at all. Keep it hanging there. 3, 2, 1, and slowly up. Last one, going over to the right side. Head falls over. Dragging the body down, weights on the right foot, making these nice and easy. Don't want to feel like we're rushing through them. We're just warming up the back, staying in the side so that we can stretch out that back a little bit, keeping those hips square, and then slowly restack up all the way. Chin is always in. We're going to include a bit of weight now to make that stretch a bit more. Right arm goes up towards the ceiling, pointing to the ceiling. Good. Now you'll see Tracy keeping that shoulder out the neck. Nothing's riling up into the neck there. So you're going to tip over to the left once again. Left arm is staying nice and dangling still. We're not pushing weight in that right hip away from this left side, keeping the weight a little bit more on this left foot. 2, 1, and again, restack from the base first, all the way up. Right arm lowers down, left arm goes up towards the ceiling, still out the neck, nothing changing in your back, keeping those ribs holding on with those abs, and we tip over to the right, head falls over, we start to curve that spine. Again, a little bit of weight shifts onto that right foot, keeping the weight away from this left side so we don't feel like this hip's popping towards me. 2, 1, and we slowly restack up all the way. Last one each side, left arm goes down, right arm goes up. We tip over to the left, keeping that weight nicely on that left foot, hanging out that shoulder, weight on that left side. Keeping the dangle here, we don't want to feel there's too much tension in the arm. A lot of energy is going to be wasted there. We want to really focus on what the spine is doing. And keep it there for 3, 2, 1, and slowly restacking up. Lower the right arm, left arm up towards the ceiling, and we tip over to the side. Nice and long, opening up these ribs on the left side, weight shifting onto that right foot. Nice length out the side of the body, nothing in that neck. Keeping it there for 4, 3, 2, 1, and up nice and tall, and lower that left arm. Good. We're going to stretch now out a bit more of our spine, getting a bit of a twist. But before we get there, let's interlace those fingers and place them behind the head. Good. Now we're going to roll down a little bit, but not completely. So it's just going to basically be the neck. So we get our hands behind our head so we can get a bit of extension up the back. We're going to drop that chin and just roll to about where the shoulders start, keeping everything at the bottom of the spine stable, nothing changing too much in the sense of a reverse arch here. We're more like we're folding that spine forward and restack up. So just from that mid back. And tuck the chin, rolling down. Good. Keeping that work there. And slowly up. Just that mid back. We'll do 2 more. And tuck that chin. Nice and heavy. Into it. Keep it there. 3, 2, 1. And up. And last one. And tuck the chin. Rolling forward. Keeping the weight in front. 2, 1. And up. Good. Take those hands out, relax them next to us. We do the roll down now all the way. Still got that nice comfortable stance. Knees aren't too active. Don't want to feel too much pulling on the quads now. Deep inhale. We tuck that chin, start to melt forward, rolling into the feet. Feel those vertebrae breaking up into those pieces, curving that spine like a piece of string or bamboo. Nice curve into it. Getting the weight in front, hanging into those toes. So have a little bit more weight in front of the body, not all the way back into the heels, into the hips, keeping the weight nicely in the toes. And we slowly stand up nice and tall, restacking up. Good. These are nice slow movements. We want to warm up the body and start to get the brain connecting to the muscle and the spine and the hips and the bones in the body. And again, tuck the chin, melting forward, getting that weight nice and in front. Weight stays ahead of the hips, hanging into the toes, curving through that spine. Head's heavy, nothing in the shoulders. Just hanging into it. 3, 2, 1, and let's slowly restack up all the way, nice and smooth, and restack up. Shoulders open at the end, chin comes slightly up, but don't feel like we're looking up too much. Want to keep that chin nice and parallel to the ground. Again, tucking the chin, melting forward, rolling through that spine, getting that weight ahead of the hips, hanging into the toes. Knees stay relaxed. If you feel like there's too much hamstring pull there, do bend those knees a little bit more. Otherwise, slight softening is good enough. Hanging there, 2, 1, and we slowly stack up. Feel those strings in the back, or those muscles pulling from the base first. So we make it all the way up to the top. So we're restacking that building, getting those cables to pull us up. Last one, and deep inhale, and we tuck the chin, curving forward, getting the weight ahead of those hips, hanging into those toes. Nice and loose. Keep the hang there. Now we're going to keep this last one there for just a bit longer, for 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now at the bottom, interlace those fingers. Place them behind the head. Now we're not pulling on the neck. We're keeping those knees nice and relaxed. Let's open those feet up a little bit wider, just so we get a bit more stability in that base. Now we're going to keep those knees bent. We don't want to feel like they're straightening too much. It's going to be a lot of work then for the over the hips. Now we're going to straighten this back up. So from that curved position, we want to get the head and the torso the same level as the hips. So we're just getting the activation first, and then we drop the chin down and we roll back down. So we're extending that back in this horizontal position. A lot's going to have to hold on to this back as this weight is hanging with no support except at those hips. And again, we restack that spine, but only till that horizontal point. We're not coming all the way, just to enough horizontal, perfect. Keeping it there, 2, 1, and we tuck that chin, curving again through halfway down. Keep the weight, and last one, lifting up, keeping it there. Now nice and relaxing that spine, keeping that weight. Back's working quite hard now. We're going to twist. We're going to twist to the left side, so a nice little corkscrew twist, keeping those hips stable. A bit of pull at the back to center, over to the right. So a little corkscrew, don't pull on the neck. You can see Tracy doing well, nothing in the neck here. Back to center. And we twist to that left side, just from that midsection, back to the middle, over to the right, and back to center. Last one each way, left and center, and last one right, center, and curve that spine down. Let go of the head, relax those arms, and now we're going to restack up all the way, nice and tall, all the way up, nice and relaxed. Good. Now we've worked through that back a little bit. We'll work through a bit from the bottom now up towards the feet. Keeping the stance that we had before, we're going to shift a bit of weight into the toe on the right leg, lifting up that right heel. We want that right heel up calf activation, not just off the ground, that's not high enough. Really want to feel like I'm pushing into the floor, so if I had to almost stand on the ball of that foot, I could lift my body up. So there is pressure activation in that calf. Now keeping the weight forward, so I don't want to feel like we're rocking into the heels. We're going to change those feet over, so the weight's in the toes, so there's a brief second where both heels are off the floor. And switching over. Keeping the weight in the front of the toes, don't feel like we're just leaning back into the center. Keep the weight forward, and we switch over again. Really get that smooth articulation also through the ankle. We don't want the ankles to feel like they're falling out to the side, they're coming straight ahead. So I don't want ankles going out to the side, they're nice and in line. Let that knee be the guide for you. And we switch over, changing those ankles. Good, and switch. Good, nice. Now we're going to do a little bit quicker and switch. Switch, still keeping the weight in front. And nothing's changing at the top, nothing in the hips, nothing in the spine. We're not leaning back to get that action, keeping the weight nicely in front. Almost like we're walking, but we're staying stationary for now. And switch, and change. Toes are going to work, feet are going to work. Keeping those ankles and knees going straight ahead. Switch. And we're changing over. Good work through it. Really just warming up these ankles, warming up these feet. Keeping that nice smooth rhythm going through it. 2, 1. Let's increase the speed a little bit. Same stability there. And change. 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 Still keep the weight in front though. I don't want to feel like we're just rocking into the back of the heels. I want to feel that there's work in those calves. Nice and stable. Hips don't shine out to the side. And switch. Change. 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 Last 4, 3, 2, 1. And lower both heels down. Very good. I'll stretch the line back for me. Head can be either side. Good. Now with positional on our back, as we always say, a nice straight posture. So the arms are next to us, hips are in line, feet are in line, not one foot in front of the other, shoulders are square, chin slightly tucked in, so there's a bit of balance in that body so we don't feel like we're leaning our head to the side, nice length out the back of the neck. We can do very slight movements now. We lift up that left leg up to tabletop. So we're rotating that leg up, the foot is as high as the knee. Now we're going to keep that leg there for the duration. That hip flex is going to start working, holding on, keeping that leg and the pelvis from seesawing side to side. Right hip is being pulled down by those glutes on the side, keeping that left leg up. We're going to straighten it out to 45. Good. Now we're going to keep that leg long as well. Nice long holds in this position. Just going to hold it till 5, really get that hip flexor to work a little bit longer. 4, 3, 2, 1, and bend that leg in. Good. Left leg doesn't get to go down, it still stays up, and straighten that leg out to 45. Keeping that leg nice and long, nice work through it. For 5, 4, good length, hip holding onto that at the hip socket, 2, 1, bring that leg in. So nothing too explosive, we're just going to press that leg out and hold it there, get that extension for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring that leg back in. And extend that leg out to 45, keeping that reach, so a nice long extension out there. Now with that leg being long, I don't want us to feel like we're falling over to the side. It's keeping it nice and square still. 2, 1, bring that leg back in. And again, last 2, extend that left leg out, keeping that reach, length out the hip for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring it back in. And last 1, extend that left leg out. Nice and long for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring that left leg in. Very good. Let's lower that left leg to the floor. Right leg's turn, comes up to tabletop. Nice and balanced out of it. Knee staying nicely above the hip. We're not seesawing to the side. No weight distribution shifting to the right, pushing that left leg down. Right leg's turn, extend it out to 45. Good. Keep it there. Nice heavy 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and draw that leg back in. Good work, and extend, pushing that leg away. Feel like you're pushing it with force or with energy in it. Don't want to feel like I'm just moving my leg. Keep it long. 3, 2, 1, and slowly back in. And once again, straighten that right leg out. Good length out that hip. Keep it there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back in. Last 2, and straighten that right leg out. Keep that length. 5, 3, 2, 1, back in, last one, and straighten that right leg out, keeping that leg out of it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bend that leg in, and lower down. So we've got that hip holding on that hip flexor. We're going to go back to the left leg now, so we can give the right leg a bit of a break. We're going to lift that left leg up to tabletop. Now we're going to take that knee out to the side. So almost foot stays where it is. So foot stays where it is, and we're twisting that leg. Good. So now almost like if you would be riding a horse only with one leg, legs now turned out to the side. Foot stays in the center of the body still, so we're turning our foot into the center of the body. Now, with that bent leg, we're going to straighten that leg out to 45. Good. So now we've got a turned out leg. When we bring that leg back, knee goes out to the left. Now, with more weight being on that left side, this right hip has a harder time staying down. But do try and feel like you're pulling that down, almost like you're twisting that hip back into the ground. Left leg again out to 45. Nice long extension. We're just holding on. Nothing working too explosive out that hip. Keep it there. 3, 2, 1. Bring that leg back in. Hip is still being held on by those hip flexors and that quite a little bit as we extend that leg out. Nice long extension out of it. Reaching that foot away for 4, 3, 2, 1, and back in. Last 2, and extend that left leg out. Keep it there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and in. Last 1. Extend that left leg out. Getting good. Reach out of that left leg. Keep it there for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back in. Last 1. Extend. Getting that. Just a nice hold in that leg for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that leg back in. Swing the knee back into the center. Leg is in that starting position. Lower that left leg down to the floor. Same thing now, just on the right side. Right leg comes up to tabletop. And we twist that knee out to the right, but we're just twisting that leg inside the hip. Foot stays in the center. Now the bottom of the foot is pointing to the opposite side. And straighten that leg out to 45. You'll see Tracy's got a nice turn out in this leg, all the way into that hip socket. And bend that leg back in. Good. And when we push that foot away, feel like we're pushing with force, with energy in that leg as we press it out to 45. Good extension there. Nothing changing too much in the back. I don't want to see massive arching if we start to feel that we need those abs to do a bit more work for us. And bring that leg back in. And again, straighten that right leg out to 45. Still keeping that turn out in it. Shoulders are open. So we feel like we're pressing our hands a bit into the ground. And bring that leg back in. Last 2, and straighten that left leg out. Good length out of it. Good pressure through it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bending it in. Good. And extend out once again, all the way. Last 1 for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bend that leg in. Swing that knee back into the center. Good. And lower that right leg down to the floor. Good. We're going to mix it up a little bit now. Left leg goes up to tabletop. Right leg goes up as well. So now both legs are being held up. Both hip flexors are working. Now this in itself can be a little bit tricky, a little bit difficult as we get that endurance going into it, as we keep holding those legs. Those back is going to be the first thing to give out. We need those abs to hold onto that pelvis and pull that pelvis forward. So you're gripping on the top of those ribs as well, or the bottom of those ribs. Now we're going to straighten that left leg up to the ceiling, if we can. If you can't, as much as you can, trying to keep the knees next to each other and bend it in. Right leg's turn, extending up. So while we're here, we're asking for knee extension while we're in that hip flexion. So it's holding on the hip, and then we're asking our quads to also activate at the same time. Bend that leg in. Left leg's turn up towards the seat as much as you can. If you can't go 90, 70, 60, 50 degrees is fine, just as long as we get that leg straight. Bend that left leg in. Right leg's turn again, straighten up to the ceiling. Backs wanting to arch because of the weight, but our abs are holding on, especially the lower part. Bend that leg in. And left leg extends up to the ceiling. Keep that weight there. Good. 2, 1, and lower down. And right leg up. Keep that extension. 3, 2, 1, and bending in. Last one each way. Left leg extends up, keeping it there for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bending in. Right leg's turn and lifting up. Keep that height for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bend that leg in. One leg down and the other leg down. Very good. Still going to work in the lower part of the body. I want you to have those feet and those knees together if you can. We want to create a small platform. That's why we want our feet together. We can do some pelvic curls. Normally we have our feet open to the side just for a bit more stability now, but now we're taking that stability away. If I could, I want your feet actually to melt into one foot, but unfortunately that can't happen. So we're going to keep those feet as close as we can together. Don't feel like we're squeezing too tightly, but that they are right next to each other. So that's our small little platform that we're going to have. We're going to do a pelvic curl as well. We're going to flatten that lower back first. So we're creating this little bit of a tuck, almost a C curve, a low C curve into the mat, pushing that lower back into the floor, and we're lifting up those hips, peeling off, getting the height perfect. Now we're going to keep it there. Small little platform, arms go up towards the ceiling. Good. Now as we lower down our hips, so this is going to be basically the point we're returning to. As we lower down our hips back to neutral, our arms go overhead, and then when we come up, our arms come back above the shoulders. So as Tracy's gone down, our arms go overhead behind her, and as we lift up, everything comes up, hips start peeling off, and the arms go above the shoulders. Good, so a little bit of coordination. Now with any time we move arms, I don't want to feel like we're just moving for the sake of moving. There's activity and there's energy in the arms. So there's a bit of, if I have to push there, it'd be resistance. They're not just flipping and flopping all over the place. And arms go overhead, so almost like you're lowering something heavy. Imagine like a cardboard box or something behind you that you're holding onto as the pelvis goes down. Now when you go down and the hands are above the head, the arching is a real factor. We want to keep that in, abs holding on. And lifting up those arms, bringing that, peeling that spine off. It's almost like a chain we're lifting off the ground. Nice and smooth, good. And we slowly lowering down all the way, and arms go overhead. Very good. And let's do it again. Still those feet are next to each other. Platform's a little bit difficult or smaller than we're used to. And arms go up while we're lifting up those hips, squeezing those glutes together. Now with the knees being in towards each other, the glutes have a tendency to want to open those knees up. So you want to see that those knees don't flail open, especially when the power comes through with those legs. And lower the hips, bringing those arms overhead. We're doing well. And a long exhale as you lift. So we inhale at the bottom to prepare. And as we lift, arms come up overhead, spine starts peeling off, pushing pressure into those feet. Now with the toes as well, I want the big toe to be the heavy part, not the outside of the foot. Those glutes want to spread open those feet and knees. We keep the pressure on the big toe. And slowly going down, rolling through that spine, arms go overhead. Nice and easy, over the top. Very good. And let's do 3 more, and we're lifting up, getting those hips up nice and high. Arms are above us. So it's only the shoulder blades and those 2 feet together that are keeping us in the shape. Body may want to sway side to side. Lower those arms down slowly, lowering that pelvis down to the ground. Nice and steady. You don't want to feel like we're forcing it too much. And last one up, peeling off. Arms come up above the shoulders, keeping the height. Now the glutes are going to stay where they are. Hips are going to stay up. Don't want to feel like I'm going too high. Always protecting the ribs with those abdominals. We're going to keep the height for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now keeping those hips up. We're going to add a bit of movement with the arms now, and every time we're pumping up the glutes with our arms. So as the arms are above us, as we push down, it's kind of a quick action. It's going to so it's a quick down and an up, but every time we push down, I want you to squeeze those glutes together. So it's a good. So it's working through the base of the arm as well, and we're squeezing those glutes. And you'll see Tracy's not exploding up. There's not a massive motion or up and down in those hips. It's just those glutes getting to work a little bit as we activate and squeeze together. Knees are going to want to flail open. She's doing a good job. Inner thighs resisting that. Let's do our last 5. And we'll go 4. And we say 3. And 2. And 1. Lower those arms to the floor. And then slowly descend to the base, imprinting that spine into the floor. Now we're going to try and have a towel nearby, just anything you can use, even something firm if you have a stick or something that's just, we can get a bit of range in it. We're going to hold it between our arms. Good. So you want to have it shoulder width apart. I don't want to have my arms too close to each other or too far, just shoulder width apart. Now this is going to become a rod that we're going to start using to just give us an idea of how high we want to lift. Open those feet up hip width apart. Keep those arms alive. So these arms don't get to just shake around. I want to feel like there's a bit of activity in them, a bit of energy, a resistance or a tightening of those muscles in the base of the shoulder and those arms. Now we're going to start lifting up our chest. Abdominals are going to have to do the work for us. They're going to have to peel off that spine, lifting up the shoulder blades off. And now this towel or this rod that we have, if we have anything there, it's going to touch the thighs. Now we want to be in the middle of the thigh or higher. I don't want to be touching the base of my thighs or just the top of my hips. I want to feel like I'm actually reaching and having to lift my torso up. Now I point, wherever you've touched on the first one, that's the lowest point you're ever going to go. You can go higher if you like, but I don't want you to end up going lower. Let's lower that torso. Simultaneously, the arms come up, ending up above the shoulders. Deep inhale once again, lifting up that torso and touching the thighs. This gives us that idea of how high we need to be, not just lifting just enough off to fake it, and we're lowering down nice and smooth. Good, let's go again, and we're lifting up that chest, touching the thigh with that towel, getting that height, good, and lower down. And lifting up, lowering down, and last 3, and lifting up, and lower down. We're doing very well, folding at those ribs, 2 to go, lifting, peeling off, touching the thighs with that towel, and lower down, and last 1, and lifting up, get that height, 2, 1, and lower down. Still keeping those arms active above the shoulders. If we don't have a towel close by, or you don't want to use a towel, fingertips as well, that's fine. You touch the thighs, but then I want those fingertips to touch the top of the knees, not the front of the knees, on top, so the peaks of those knees. Keeping that towel where it is. We're going to go again, deep inhale, lifting up that chest, and touching those thighs. Good, nicely in the center or higher. Don't go too low. Then we're not getting the height we want out of it there. Lower that torso down, arms come up above the shoulder, very good. And again, lifting up, get the height, touching those thighs, and lower down, nice and smooth through it. And we're lifting up, getting that fold at those ribs, keeping it nice and square, and lower down. Let's do our final 3, and we're lifting up, touching those thighs with that towel, and lower, nice and smooth, folding at those ribs, 2 to go, lifting up, getting it up and lower down, last 1, and lifting up. Now we're going to keep this last one there for a little bit for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower down. Arms still active above the shoulders. Now we're working through those blocks in the abdominal section. Nothing's pulling on the hips though. So I don't want to feel like you're using your legs to try and get yourself up. Really feel like you're folding at the ribs. And don't feel like you're curving that spine either. Don't want to feel like my chin is crushing into my chest. I want to keep a little bit of a gap now. Now we're going to lift as we did before, but we're going to hold it there, and we're going to increase the height a little bit in increments. So let's go. Lifting up that torso first. Towel is touching the thighs, where we were before. Now a little burst of energy. We're going to try and move this towel a little bit higher, basically up into the knee. So it's up, and then it's back to where our height was. And up, and lower, and lift, and lower. So small little crunches almost. And last 5. And let's go 4. And we'll go 3 again, lift. 2, and last 1, and lower back to where we started, and arms come up above the shoulders. Let's do 1 more of those. Deep inhale, and lifting up that chest, touching the thigh with that towel, and now we lift a little bit higher, and up, and lift, and lift. Last 5, 4, 3, these are tough, 2, 1, and lower down, lowering the torso. Arms are still up. Good, very nice. Now we're going to add a bit of rotation to it. So we've worked into the vertical lines of those abdominal muscles. Now we're going to get a bit of oblique twisting just to help. We're going to do the same lift. We're going to add a bit of rotation now. Now we're not going to go down between sets. We're going to lift up that height we were at in, so that endurance hold. Then we're going to start to twist. How far do we twist? The right hand moves over to the left leg. That's the distance. So as wide as your hips are, quite a bit to touch. So we're touching. I want you to move across until your right hand is touching your left thigh. So we lift up that torso, touching the legs, over to the left side, right hand goes all the way over, that's it. Till it touches back to center. Now we're going the one side only. Let's go left. Yes. and back to center. You'll see Tracy's chest is staying nice and open, nothing closing in that, and over to the left, nothing's building up into the neck, just keeping that chest open, back to center, last 3, over to the left, and center, hip still staying square, doing well, last 2, and center, and last 1, over to the left, back to center, arms go up, lower the torso down. Might also be a lot of work for your neck, but I don't want to feel like you're straining to keep yourself up. Your head can't do the work for you, you need your abs to do the work. If you are straining your neck, do drop in between them, but you're going to have to move a little bit quicker there. Your neck is allowed to work. It might be a little bit uncomfortable, but your neck can work and hold up your head. It's not going to be too extraneous either though. Let's go up now, we're going over to the right side, lifting up that torso. And let's go right, left hand touches the right leg, good, center, and over to the right, back to the center, and right, and center, very good, to the right, and center, last 3, and back in, 2, a bit of endurance holding on those abs, and back in, and last 1, center, and lower down, very good. This will be the last set now, we're going to add rotation. We're going to do both sides while we're up the whole time. So it's going to be to the side, center, to the side, center. Don't miss stopping in the middle. I want there to be a pause in the middle, so we don't just feel like we're swinging with our body's momentum across and cross, because then the height starts to get affected, and then we're not really getting the benefits of this lift that we want to get. So we're lifting that torso up again, folding at those ribs, touching that thigh. Let's rotate over to the left as we did before, back to the center, pause there, over to the right, and center, over to the left, and center. Very good. Let's go right, and center, and left, and center. Last 3, right, and center. Now go left, keep it there, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, middle, go to the right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, center, and lower that torso down, arms go up, and you can let go of that towel now, we're done with that. If you have it close by, wipe your brow, if you've been working up a sweat, woo, tough. Right, staying on our back or staying on the mat still, we're going to roll over to our side now. Good. We're going to use that bottom arm as a pillow once again. We're going to keep it straight out in front of us. Now bottom leg's going to bend, so it's almost at a 90-degree angle, as if you would be sitting. Top leg is going to be straightened. Now we're going to bend that top leg, so almost like it looks like we're running, so that foot's behind us. We're going to try and keep this leg in line with the spine. So if it goes slightly forward or is ahead of the body, if that's a bit tight, that's not a problem. We just want to feel like we're running. We have that nice position there. Now the foot's going to touch, this knee is not going to touch the floor. So quite a distance away for it. We're going to lift up this back foot, or this top leg's foot, just as high as the knee. And we want the knee to be as high as the hip. Good, so we're just going to hold it there. And 3, 2, 1, lower that foot down. So we're just getting a bit of a rotational lift out of that leg. And lifting up that foot, and lower down. Now if this is tough, we may get a tendency where this foot lifts up, and then this knee simultaneously moves forward. Now there's quite a small angle that we're creating here. We want to have this nice and lengthened and open. So we want to have that leg, that's going to be tough for that glute. We want this area to work and this to be open. So do feel like you are pushing that leg back. Don't feel like you're just keeping it slightly in front and then the foot starts to lift up and down. So keeping it back, lower that foot down and lifting it up. Nice rotational lift and lower down. And we're lifting up again. Nice smooth turn in it and lower down. We're going to do 2 more just to warm it up a little bit and lift that left leg up. Nice lift out that foot and lower down. And last one, lift. Now we're going to keep this last one here for just a nice relaxing 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now keeping that leg up, let's lift the knee and the foot a little bit higher up and lower down. So now we're working into that glute and outside that leg and lift and lower. Nice work keeping that hip open and lift and lower down. And last 3, lift and lower. 2 to go, lift and lower down. Last 1, lift, lower back to where it started, lower that foot down. Relaxing that leg in position. We're going to do the same thing again, same lift, but giving it a bit of a breather. Deep inhale, and let's lift that foot off the floor once again, getting it high as the knee. If that internal thigh rotation will allow, then the knee and the foot goes a little bit higher, and back to where the hip height was, and lift, and lower, and lifting up, and lower down, and lift, and drop, nice and smooth, last 3, and lower, 2 left, lift, and drop, and last 1, lifting up, and lower back to hip height, and lower that foot down. Good. We're going to add a bit of momentum, or not momentum, but a bit of movement into it now. That foot lifts up once again. Now keeping that leg as bent as it is, we're going to move this leg forward so it matches the bottom leg. Bringing it forward, still keeping it bent, then move it back to where it started, opening up that hip. Glutes working the whole time on this side. Move that knee forward. And moving it back, working just into the hip. When this leg goes back, don't arch the back anything, add to holding on. Move that leg forward. And back in. Hands again, not using too much shoulder, just those arms just to keep a bit of balance so we don't roll forward or back. Last 2, move that knee in front. And move it back. And last 1, knee comes in front. And back. And lower that foot down. Good. The leg's still going to be up a little bit, but now relax it there. Got our last one, it's going to be the same sequence. Deep inhale, lifting up that foot. And that knee is bent, that leg stays bent. And we move that leg forward, matches the bottom leg, so almost like the mirror images. And move that leg back, very nice. And move that leg forward. And rotating it back inside that hip, very good. And leg goes forward. And back, very nice. Last 3, bring it forward. And back, and last 2, bring it in front, matching the bottom leg, back behind us, and last 1, leg comes in front, and back behind us, lower the foot, and relax that leg. Good. Now we're going to push ourselves up, spin around, so you can do, if you want, you roll over to the other side. Tracy's going to flip for us, so we can at least see what's happening in the front of the body. Again, nice and comfortable on the side. When we are on our side, bottom leg is bent like we're running or we're sitting at a table. Top leg is bent, matching that front or the bottom leg, but just the foot is behind us. So we've got that nice little running pose. A little bit of a gap under the ribs. I don't want to feel like I'm rolling forward too much, like this is all cascading now, and I'm lying on a bed, or that I'm too far back, now I'm lying on the back of that glute. I want to keep a little bit of a nice straight spine. So imagine your spine is x-rayed. I don't want to feel like we're piking it up, or that we're curving now down into the bottom. It's a nice horizontal spine position along with the head. This arm stabilizing with this fingertips in the wrist here, but not too much in the shoulder. I want to see activation up here in the neck. Knees off the ground, you lift that bottom or that top leg's foot just as high as the knee, which is in turn the same height as the hip. So don't have to go too high to start with. We're just doing the small lift to warm up that leg and lower that foot down. Very good. And lifting up once again. A nice smooth lift. So it's a bit of a rotational lift. Glutes going to start working a little bit there. And lower down. And we're lifting up. Keeping that height very good. And lower down. So nice smooth lift. Almost like a lid that's being opened. And we lift that top leg's foot up. And lower down. Nice and smooth to it. And lifting up. Let's do our final 3. And lower down. Last 2. And lifting up. And lower. Last 2. Last 1. I think it's last 1. Let's go one more. And lower down. And last 1. Lift. Keep that foot up. Keep that knee up. Now we're going to keep that height. Going to hold for nice 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now this knee and foot come up to the ceiling. And lower down. So a slight lift is fine. Just that it's higher than the body is good enough. And lift. And lower down. Very good. Tracy's doing a good job of keeping this knee and this foot at the same height, so she lifts up. Good. Outside that thighs working into that glute. And lower back to where it started. Lift. And lower down. Last 4. Lifting up. And lower. 3 left. Lift. And drop. Nice work in the outside that glute. And last 2 lift. And lower. Last 1 and up. Keep the height. 3, 2, 1. Lower the knee, lower the foot. Giving that leg a bit of a chance to relax there. Nice and calm. 3, 2, 1. Let's do it again. Lifting up the foot first. Lifting up that knee. Getting that height of the hip. And then they ascend up to the ceiling. And lower down. Lifting that leg up. And lower. Nice and smooth to it. Lift. And lower. So we're opening up the hip throughout. And lift. And drop. Last 4. Lifting up. Lower down. 3 left. Lift. And drop. Last 2 up. And down. And last 1. Lift. And lower the hip height. Lower that foot down. Nice, relax. Now we're going to get a bit of that movement we had on the other side as well. Keeping that L shape in the leg, outside that glute is going to work, especially when we get that drawing back, nothing changing in the spine. Don't want to see a back and forth or wrenching or sort of niggle on the back of that lower spine. Left leg or right leg lifts up, keeping that leg bent. Now moving in front of the body. Good, so then mirror images, one on top of each other, copy and pasting. We move this leg back to where it started. Foot's behind the body, going to get into that glute as we extend in the back and bring that leg forward. Very good. And taking it back behind the body and swinging the leg in front. Good work. And we're moving it back and leg comes forward. Very nice. And leg goes behind and bring it in front. Very good. And leg goes back. Last two and back. And last one. Keep it there. 3, 2, 1. Lower the leg, lower the foot. Good. Nice, relax there. This will be the last one on this side. And we're going to lift up that knee, lift up that foot, and bring it forward. And taking it back. And bringing it forward. And back. Very good. And take that knee in front. And move that foot behind us. Very good. And bring it in front. And back. Last 5 and 4, and back. And last 3. Good movement only through the hip. And back. 2 on its way. And forward. And back. And last one. Good movement. Knees not dropping too much. And leg goes behind us. Keep it there. 3, 2, 1. Lower the foot. Lower the leg. Very good. Nice, relax there. We're going to roll onto our stomach now. Push ourselves up. So we're on all fours. Now part of the endurance, we're going to get the muscles in the hips to hold on to a bit of endurance. Now this is just going to be a simple plank hold. I say simple, but there's a lot going on. With any type of full body, which this is, as it suggests, there's a lot of the body that we're working, the full body. Now it's not that the body is one muscle, there's all these little groups of muscles that have to now work at the same time. We need to activate them properly. Sometimes when a person does full body, the bigger muscles, they make more noise in the body. You feel them first, or you feel them shouting. Then the other small ones that help stabilize the body and keep us safe, they kind of fall by the wayside because the big ones are taking over. So we think we're activating as we should because it hurts in my arms or it hurts in my legs or it's tough there. But all the small little muscles that keep the entire integrity of the body, we just forget to do because there's so much going on. So with that, we always want to prep first. Prep is more important if you get it right than just doing the exercise. You can do 20 minutes of planking, but if you started bad or the activation that you had before you started, you're doing the wrong things, you're going to hurt yourself, you're going to hurt your back, you're going to hurt your shoulders, and you're going to hurt your body, and then you can't exercise for a while. So with that, where do we start? Let's start at the top. Neck isn't dropped down, it's being pulled back up to the ceiling. So imagine I have a grip on Tracy's spine, and I'm pulling it up towards the ceiling. I'm putting it in between these shoulder blades. There's a nice flat podium here that's nice and smooth and rounded. So that shoulder blade that normally can fly up and make that bit of winging, that chicken wing that we see sometimes at the back, is nicely against that rib cage. Muscles are pushing into that. Tracy's pushing the floor away. So she's not just resting on her arms, she's actually pressing the ground away. With that, you can't push if your elbows are locked. The locking position is a final position. We want to have a slight bend position in those elbows so the muscles and the tendons around the joint are actually doing their work. They're not just relaxing on bone. So she's pushing out there. While that, she's activating her abdominals as well because we're going to start doing a lot of work. Shoulders are going to be on the ground with our hands. Hands are going to be on the ground. A lot of weight's going to be dripping in the middle. So we need something to activate around the pelvis. That's going to be abs. It's also going to be glutes. So once the legs start going out, these glutes are going to squeeze together, solidifying it up so that when this is stable, this starts to activate as well, and that spine doesn't start to curve, which then all this pressure is relying on each other. So let's start again. Going to straighten out this right leg first, digging those toes in. Now we're squeezing already a bit on this side. Left leg's going to go out now as well. And so the plank begins. Squeezing those glutes a bit. Pressing out those arms. Abs are holding on. We'll start at a nice easy 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the one leg in. Only the one leg for now. We're keeping the other leg out so that we don't just relax the whole body. A lot of activation going to stay there. We're reminding those muscles we're going to need them. And straighten that right leg out behind us. Pushing that floor away. Activating out those glutes, abs holding on for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring that one leg in. Either leg you like, just so we can relax that body. Now we're going up to 10 seconds. We're going to do 2 sets of those. Remember to breathe. If you start suffocating because you're holding your breath, your body's muscles start to go into panic mode. and then nothing wants to work, so you fatigue so much quicker, muscles start to get sore. So remember to rely on that breathing. Leg goes out behind us, big exhale. So you can fill up that tank again. We had 8, 7, 6, pushing that chest down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we bring in one leg. Good work through those arms and those legs. The last set of 10 seconds, deep inhale, and extend that leg out, holding out for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring that leg in. Good. We're going to do our last set. This is going to be 2 sets of 20 seconds. So we literally doubled. We went from 5 to 10. Now we're going all the way to 20. We're going to do 2 sets. We'll do a count of 40. Remember to pressure out or push those arms away. Breathing in, deep inhale, and extend that leg out. Do 2 counts of 10 in this one. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Halfway there. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Leg in, relaxing that body. Taking a nice breather there. Figuring out where we're losing a bit of stability. Are we dropping those hips too much? Are we arching our spine? Are we dropping between our shoulders? Reset if you have to. Let's go to our last set. Deep inhale, straighten that leg out behind us. Holding for 2 counts of 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And bring the leg in. Bringing the other leg in. Very good. We're going to stretch out our glutes a little bit now. So staying in the position we are. The right knee is going to come forward. The right foot's going to go out towards the left. We're going to have this leg in front of us. Knee on the ground. So the knee doesn't have to be in line with the hip. It can be out to the right a little bit. So we're going to slowly start pressing this left leg out, reaching out behind us. So we're bending our hips a little bit. Arms are still nice and relaxed, pressing that floor away. Once we're in this position, it might be quite a pull on that glute. If you want to feel more, and I suggest we do get there, we start walking those hands a little bit forward so that we can get this torso lower towards that floor. If you start feeling any sort of major pull on that knee or start to feel a bit tender, get out of this position. Don't go as low as Tracy has gone. Rather keep that height up. Also, you'll see her leg is in a nice L shape. So she created a nice L shape. If you don't like that, if the knee's not liking that, this foot can be closer to the hip. So now we're creating a little bit of an A shape in that leg. So that angle behind the knee is not 90, maybe about 30 degrees. We want to breathe in this as well. Relaxing. It might be tight, might be pulling. We want to keep it there, stretching. As we get more into it, we start getting a little bit lower. If we can, we'll keep it here for a nice steady 10. With any stretching, you don't want to jump in and out of stretching. Then the muscles don't actually stretch, they just bounce back to where their previous was. We want to keep that breathing through. That's going to help us guide through it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Going to walk those hands back a little bit. Still going to stay on this side of this leg. So when we go a little bit deeper, things we want to try and get deeper. We want to get those hips closer to the floor. We want this left leg to try and reach out further behind us. And we want to get that torso closer to the ground if we can. If we can get all the way that our head is touching the ground, good stuff. If not, not a problem. Just as far as the body will allow. So we start walking those hands in front of us again. Just hanging into that stretch. Getting that glute to stretch. A lot of glutes may be tight. This might be tough. That's good. It's always nice to find a tight area. If it's not, just sitting there. It's also relaxing and opening up that back of the glute. Opening up that pelvis. We'll keep it here for a nice heavy 10 seconds. Just breathing through it. Nice and calm for 9. Heavy arms out the shoulder. Keeping that release. 7, 6. Arms are nice and long. Leg is long behind us. Arms there for 4, 3, 2, 1. Walk those hands back. Nicely under the shoulders. Push yourself up. Bring that left leg back in as well. Let's change legs over. Left leg comes in front of us. Foot goes in front of the right hip. Left knee's on the floor as much as we can. Doesn't have to be in line with this hip. Can be out to that left a little bit more. So a little bit of opening of that hip. And let's press that right leg out behind us. Once we're in a comfortable position, it doesn't hurt too much, especially on this knee. We start walking those hands forward again. Nice and relaxed out of it. Keeping the weight ahead of those hips. Heavy through it. hanging into it as much. Again, the first one doesn't have to be as deep as we think. There's no goal we have to end of today. Just as long as the body's getting that stretch. As we sit in it a bit longer, we will get a little bit lower. No need to force it. We don't want that body to tense. It might tense in the beginning, but as we breathe through it, that body's going to start letting go a little bit, and that's what we want to try and get to. Keeping the weight nice and heavy, head of the hips for 5. Nice and breathing through it. 4, shoulders relaxed, the hips relaxed. 3, 2, 1, and let's walk those hands back a little bit. Right leg can go a little bit further. Left foot, knee can go out to the side a bit. We're going to try and get that torso even lower to the ground and walk those hands in front. Getting the weight ahead of those hips, hanging into it, nice and loose. Breathing through it, long breaths, trying to calm that body down. For a nice long 10, really relaxing into stretching. Stretching is quite underrated. People don't do it nearly as much enough, and we often do it for 5 minutes. We think we're done for stretching. The more we can stretch, the better. The muscles get healthier. The recovery is so much quicker, especially with muscles that we've worked. Keep it here for 7. 6, breathing through it, legs nice and long, extended out behind us. For 4, keep it heavy, nice and long. 3, and 2, and 1, and walk those hands back. Bring that leg back in. Good. We're going to get to all 4s now. Good. Want to stretch our feet a little bit as well. So, oopsie. Last a bit too, my house is a bit too small for me. And we're going to flatten those feet. So we're going to stretch those feet a bit. And we're going to sit back onto our haunches. Hands are going to still stay on the floor, just so that if we have to feel like we don't want too much pressure into our feet, we're going to keep it there. Keep it nice and relaxed, out the shoulders. Now if you can, at that position, if sitting on the ankles is nice, we're going to sit all the way up, so hands will go off the floor. Our right hand's going to hit the floor next to us. Good. We're going to have the fingertips facing away from us, and the left arm's going to come overhead, and we're going to stretch out our sides a bit. Now with this, we're opening up our sides. Right shoulder doesn't have to be into the neck. It can be away. This right arm can also bend if you want to get more range out of it. We're trying to keep this left sitting bone down, so we don't feel like we're just twisting from our hips. We want to feel like we're opening up these ribs. Keeping that pressure onto that right side. 3, 2, 1. Lifting up. Let's bounce over to the other side. Left hand touches the floor. Right arm comes over, hanging onto that side. Right hip hasn't lifted from that ankle. It's keeping it nice and balanced onto that left hip. Keeping it there for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last one each way. Popping over. Right hand goes over. Left arm goes overhead. So we're opening up this left side. Left hip is touching the back of that, or the heel on the left side. So we don't feel like we're lifting up, we're just tipping onto that, or swiveling on that right hip. And I feel like that platform is still base, so we can really get that stretch, opening of that spine for 4, 3, 2, 1, and popping over onto that left side. Nice long reach out of that right arm, keeping that length nice and long for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and sitting up nice and tall again. Going to all 4s. Good, so now we've done that side one, we're going to do a horizontal stretch. Right hand goes off the mat onto the side. Left hand on top of that. We're going to push straight back, opening up that spine. So now we're getting a horizontal rotation. So a side twist, opening up those ribs again, but now more so in the back. Nothing has to hold us up. We're doing a nice side stretch. Arm is long, so it's opening up the bottom of that shoulder blade as well. Keep it there. 3, 2, 1. Shift the weight forward. Right hand goes a bit more right. Left hand on top. And we push those hips back, opening up that side of the spine, opening up those shoulders. Nothing activates in the neck. I want to keep it away from that neck. Keeping it there, reaching out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shift the weight forward. Opposite side now. Left hand goes over, right hand on top of it. Right hand anchors that hand so it doesn't slide along the tile. And we're pressing those hips back, opening up that spine. Keeping that width out the neck. Nothing in the base of the spine or at the ears. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shift the weight forward. Left hand goes a bit more left. Right hand on top. And let's press those hips back. Keeping those hips square back. Don't want to feel like I'm rolling onto the right leg more, or rolling onto the left leg more. I want to keep it nice and square. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shift the weight forward. Hands come in front of the hips. Now you're going to reach for the front edge of the mat. So we're getting a bit of length out that spine. Now we push those hips straight back. Shoulder blades being peeled up over that rib cage. Weight's going to be on the ankles. If the feet are feeling a bit too tight, don't go too low in them, but as long as you get that stretch out those shoulder blades and that spine. For 3, 2, 1, shift the weight back towards those hands. Hands crawl a little bit more ahead. So creating this drawbridge or this long suspension bridge between our hips. Push those hips back. Nice length out of it. Reaching those arms out. Getting an extension for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And last one. Bit more forward. Hands ever so slightly a bit more extended. And let's press those hips back. Opening up that spine. Really getting that angle in that body as the weight is almost being the lever that pulls us away from our shoulders and our hands. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shift the weight forward. Bring the hands under the shoulders. Sit back into our rest position. Lower the torso and bring those elbows in next to the ribs a little bit. Now you're going to sit there, breathing through it. Sit there for as long as you like. We want to relax that body. And well done, we are done. See you next time.